Hey, what's going on, guys? So today will be my first presentation of a new presentation series where I'll be looking at COVID and vaccine facts and fallacies. So sort of my motivation for this presentation series is that over the last year or two, I've been looking at how people online are interpreting new data coming through, whether it be through the new variants associated with COVID or vaccines and other sort of prescription medication. So anything associated with COVID and vaccine, depending on how it's presented and what news is presented, people sort of have a different understanding of how to interpret the data. So I told myself, why not create a presentation series where either I'll be looking at a new piece of data every week or looking at a particular fallacy that I've noticed and then just reacting to that and then trying to help people understand exactly where maybe their thinking is going wrong and maybe a better way to interpret the data that they're given. So just to give a short video coverage of what the presentation series is going to look like. So each of these separate presentation videos are going to be, if I have to say, about 3 to 5 minutes because I want to keep them short and digestible for most of the audience. But each one will be a short video that covers either a fact or set fallacy concerning COVID or vaccine information. So one of the things that I hope to do in this presentation series is to improve our understanding and knowledge about the information presented in the media by official resources. So whether or not the media presents a certain figure, or there's a new variant, how should we interpret it? Official resources can come from Johns Hopkins or the CDC, so anything that's official, again, we just want to be able to digest that information and make what we will of it. So one of the things we want to do is better navigate around fallacies and how data is presented and manipulated. Right? So we see a number associated with hospitalizations. So whether or not those hospitalizations, is it cause for concern? What do we want to make of it? And one of the big things we want to look at is confirmation bias, which is the idea is no matter what data is presented to us, we have an inner bias where we either want to think favorably of something or unfavorably. So those that sort of have a predisposition where they have a distrust of government, whenever new data is presented by the CDC or infectious disease, what you tend to find is that people don't believe that data. They find reasons not to believe it and think that there's sort of a hidden agenda. So that's associated with confirmation bias, and we want to be able to route around that confirmation bias by just making and understanding the data, making sense of the data as it's presented to us. And of course, we want to look at data and just, what does that data mean? Is it significant, and what does it tell us? Secondly, we want to not, at least in this presentation series, I don't want to focus on the scientific underpinnings of the data. What that is just saying is that I don't have the background or the sophistication to talk about the data and whether or not it's credible. So I'll just have the understanding that the data is credible if it comes from a credible source and peer-reviewed. So I won't comment on any of the scientific efficacy of the studies. So I'll just appeal to the scientific consensus on all technical topics. The point is just to focus on the facts and fallacies and not get into the nitty-gritty where other people are more likely or more capable of looking at it than I am. And just one further thing, most figures and numbers will be for Canada and Canadian dollars. So that's just because of my own bias associated with being in Canada and the data that's presented to me. So just know that unless otherwise posted, it'll be based off of a lot of data from Canada and in Canadian dollars. So with that, next video we'll be covering the first video of this video series where I'll be talking about a fact or fallacy. So with that, if you like the sort of the template and exactly what I'm doing with this presentation series, you can leave a comment or any sort of critical comment, and I'll be sure to get back to you and hope to change it for the future. So thanks for watching.